Hello, welcome everyone. Okay, people are joining in. Just take a moment to settle in. We're just going to begin in a few minutes. In the meantime, you can mention in the chat who all have joined, from which all places, maybe enter the city name. Would like to know which city you have been joining in. Okay, so in the meantime, let us prepare for this session. So before we start, I want to ask you something. Okay. And I would also like to know from which city you are joining. So for this, I want to know, when was the last time you said I'm fine, even when you weren't? Okay. I see people joining from Bangalore. Okay. Yes. And yes, you can just type in if recently you have said I am fine, however you weren't. If that was the situation, feel free to try type in yes if that happened. Just be true to yourself. It's just a safe space. So it's been more common than we admit, right? Stay with me, because today's conversation will help you understand why that happens, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Someone has joined from Canada. Okay. Yes. Okay. So, let us also drill down more. What have you felt when in such situation where deep inside you feel this was not something had happened, or this was something I shouldn't have accepted? Maybe from your closed one, from your near family. You wouldn't have accepted this behavior. Still, you have to admit, accept. Has there been any such situation you have come across? If yes, type in yes. So let me ask you another question. In this situation, because we said that if you have faced that situation, so when was the last time you did feel this strongly? However, you chose not to express it. Not because it wasn't important, because it felt easier to just move on. Mhm. Because we often face certain things and we often don't want to accept it or don't want to express it. Maybe you felt hurt, yet you stayed quiet. Very common feeling. Maybe something didn't sit right with you, yet you ignored it and continued. Maybe something made you felt overwhelmed, extremely overwhelmed, yet you told yourself, I'll handle it. Let it be. And on the outside, you tried to seem normal. Everything looked normal. You showed up, you responded, you carried on. And internally, that experience didn't complete itself. Agreed? Yes. Mhm. I really appreciate people who are writing yes, because that takes a lot of effort and, you know, courage to come up and accept this. And let's slow down for a moment. I want you to think of a recent situation where you felt you didn't fully allow yourself to experience it. Like, don't analyze it, just notice it. And ask yourself quietly, what did I do in that moment? Like, did I distract myself? Or get myself overtly busy into something, just getting myself occupied? Minimize what I felt? Tell myself it's not a big deal. Hmm? And this is where something important happens. You don't process the emotion. And that's the very challenging part that we avoid by not processing the emotion. And we tend to actually postpone that emotion again and again. And here's the part most people don't realize: your system doesn't register that as resolved. So, no matter whatever the situation is, the emotions that came up, the events that came up, without resolving it, you go to the next event. In that, it has actually mentioned, it is registered somewhere as incomplete. So, even though the moment has passed, the experience hasn't. And instead of disappearing, it settles somewhere within you, not as a clear memory, like awake thought, somewhere as a sensation, somewhere in your body, like in a form of heaviness, tightness, something like subtle discomfort you can't explain, you can't always explain. And over time, when enough of these moments accumulate like a mountain, like a heap of mountain, you don't suddenly break down. You just start feeling a little more tired, little more reactive, a little more distant from yourself. Is this relatable? Have you off lately been extremely tired? Or maybe a small thing will trigger you a little, you become more distant to yourself. Your inner part is somewhere missing. You have not been the actual you which you have been since years. And the confusing part is you can't always connect it to a reason. You won't find a reason to it, explaining it to someone. You are feeling tired. You won't be able to say to anyone because you had a 7 hour sleep, 8 hour sleep. Because logically, everything seems fine. Yet, emotionally, which I would say 99% people avoid thinking, focusing, giving an importance to it. There's something unresolved. And most people try to deal with this by thinking more. understanding more, distracting more. You will try to drill down that why is it happening? I had a good sleep. Try to get involved into something more and more work beyond your bandwidth. You will try to take something that okay, let me take it on. And this is not something the mind alone can resolve, because what you're holding is not just in your thoughts, it's in your body. Hence from the day one I have been saying that whenever there is certain type of emotions that is, somewhere stuck, your body start showing up very clear signals. And unfortunately, we hear it when finally the body actually starts shouting. Like it will scream out of pain, then only we start hearing it. And in that moment, we have to go to doctor, because those all situations will come as a physical ailment. And today we are going to understand something most people are never taught, where emotions actually go when you don't process them, and what they quietly do when they stay within you. Yeah, correct. And if this is something you have experienced even slightly, just type in yes in the chat. This will change how you understand yourself. The first stage is acknowledgement. Okay, got it. I could see Daniel, Mr. Singh. Yeah. Okay, so before starting the session about getting more deeper, I would like to tell you, if somebody is joining for the first time, hi, I'm Ishita Bagchi. I'm a life coach specializing in emotional intelligence, a counseling psychologist, a DMIT counselor, and I also work with healing practices like pranic healing, Reiki, and crystal healing. And what this really allows me to do is help people understand themselves at a much deeper level. Not just what they think, however, what they feel, what they hold, and what their body has been carrying over time. Because most people don't actually struggle with emotions, they struggle with allowing themselves to feel them. And when emotions are not understood or processed, they don't disappear. They stay in patterns, in reactions, and very often in the body. So you will build up certain type of reactive pattern, like, even a small thing will make you trigger, or certain repetitive pattern that you will keep on facing it again and again. And that's exactly where I work. I integrate emotional intelligence with psychological understanding and healing based approaches to help people become more aware of what they have been suppressing, what they have been carrying silently, and why it still affects how they feel today. So they can move from holding everything inside to finally feeling lighter, clearer, and more connected with themselves. Because real clarity doesn't come from thinking more, it comes from processing what you have been holding. Mhm. Because it's very simple, I would say. Emotional suppression means when you keep on piling those emotions that you have been feeling under the carpet, doesn't look obvious. It looks like, I'm okay, I have moved on, it didn't affect me that much. On the contrary, your body tells a different story. You feel something unusual heaviness in your shoulder, tightness in your chest, sudden exhaustion. Even a small work, maybe a 1 hour task, post that, you'll feel like, oh my God, I had such a long day. And most troublesome, that is an unexplained irritation. You don't always connect it back to an emotion. However, it is. Have you any time faced it? So, I want to share something personal with you. There was a phase in my life where I had become very good at adjusting. I would never react. Not reacting, not expressing, just understanding everyone else, especially people close to me. And I would notice patterns, the same behavior getting repeated, the same thing being said, the same situations affecting me again and again. And instead of addressing it, I would stay quiet. Okay, I see Manjit saying true. Shubhashri, yes. That's so relatable, right? Like we all face such situation. I would say, I used to stay completely silent. I would tell myself, it's okay, maybe it's not that important. Maybe I am overthinking. Maybe I should just let it go. And slowly, I started accepting things that didn't actually feel right to me. Not because I agreed with that, however, because I didn't express what I felt. And what happens when you keep doing that is something very subtle. On the outside, you look calm, everything looks normal. Yet inside, something starts building up, piling up. I didn't realize it immediately, and over time, I started feeling that. Emotionally exhausted, tired, slightly irritated without even a clear reason, disconnected even in close relationships. Scary, isn't it? And the most confusing part was nothing dramatic had happened. There was no big event, just small moments that I kept overlooking. And that's when I understood something very important. It wasn't just about what others were doing, it was about what I was not allowing myself to feel and express. Mhm. I could see Shubhashri saying yes, Manjeet saying often, yes, this is something we have been doing. And I wasn't processing my emotions, I was suppressing them. And those emotions didn't disappear, they didn't at all go away. They stayed in my body in the form of my reactions, in how I started feeling over time for myself, within myself. And that's when I consciously started shifting things, not by reacting suddenly, however, by slowing, becoming aware of myself. I began noticing what I actually felt in the moment, like pausing before dismissing it. I stopped putting things under the carpet, allowing myself to acknowledge that this doesn't feel right. And then, step by step, I started expressing, setting small yet clear boundaries. What is accepted and what cannot be. And most importantly, not ignoring myself anymore. And that changed everything. Not because people changed overnight, yet because I stopped abandoning what I felt. And when you stop suppressing, your body starts feeling lighter. Your your mind starts becoming clearer. You indirectly declutter all the mess from your most important part of your body, that's your mind. Your relationship becomes more honest, right? Relatable. And this is why today's topic is so important, because emotional suppression doesn't always look like pain. It looks like adjustment, it looks like silence, it looks like I'm okay when you're actually not. And over time, what you don't feel, your body definitely going to continue carrying it. You won't realize. So, what I did, I didn't just stay silent with others, I started becoming silent with myself. And that was when I understood you don't get exhausted because life is heavy. You get exhausted because you have been carrying that load without unloading it somewhere. And how you unload it? By accepting it, acknowledging it. Mhm. So let us understand this scientifically as well. So, point number one, emotions are biological responses. Emotions are not just thoughts, they are physiological responses. When you feel something, your body activates, like heart rate changes, breath pattern shift, muscle contraction, they respond, right? Second, suppression doesn't remove emotion. So if you say that, okay, I ignore, I put it somewhere, it is not going to help. Research in neuroscience shows when you suppress your emotion, they definitely don't disappear. They continue as physiological activation in the body. This is why, even if you say, I'm fine, your body still reacts. Some or the other way it will. And like I said in my, in the beginning, that we don't hear, we become deaf to our emotions, and we hear when the body starts screaming hell. Then we'll start, okay, this is what it is. And third, nervous system storage. When emotions are not processed, they remain as incomplete stress cycles. This keeps your nervous system slightly activated. And over time, it shows up as fatigue, irritability, disconnection, burnout. Hence, we often hear these terms from the corporates, from many people that I'm facing burnout, and it's not explainable why, because you just got the reason. So suppression is not control, it's delayed processing, and your body remembers what your mind tries to ignore. It keeps track of everything. And let's not just notice this today, let's actually shift something right now. So let's do some exercise today. Mhm. Gently close your eyes if you're comfortable. As I said, whoever is live with me, if you can do the activity right now, go in a place where you are not distracted, silent place. And if you're not able to do that, you can come back to this video once it is uploaded. Go at your pace, but you have to do it in a peace of mind, not in a hurry. So, once you're comfortable, please close your eyes. Take a slow, steady breathe in and exhale. Exhale should be slightly longer than your inhale. So let me help you with this. Inhale with 4 count. One, 2, 3, 4. And exhale. Try to make it 6 count. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Repeat it. Gently exhale, inhale, and slower exhale. Now bring your attention to your body. Scan slowly from head to toe. Very slowly. No need to rush. Where do you feel any tightness, heaviness, or discomfort? Just try to feel. Don't search too hard. Simply, gently notice what stands out. Now, instead of moving away from it, stay with that sensation. If it's an heaviness in your chest, stay with that sensation just for a few seconds. No fixing, no changing, just being with it. Now, gently ask yourself, if this sensation had a name, what would it be? So, as you are with that sensation for a few seconds, just try to label it. If this sensation had a name, what would it be? Is it pressure, sadness, can be frustration, unknown fear, heaviness? Don't overthink, just pick what feels closest to you. This part is extremely vital. When you name what you feel, your brain begins to calm down. This is how emotional regulation actually starts with self awareness, acceptance. Now, instead of pushing it away, say this silently to yourself. It's okay for me to feel this. If you're comfortable, put your hands on your chest and say, it's okay for me to feel this. I don't need to fix it immediately. I'm just allowing it to be here safely. Yes, you're safe. Now take a slow, deep breathe into that area as if your breath is reaching that space. And as you exhale, imagine that tightness softening. that heaviness becoming lighter. Even 2%, 5%, that's enough. Don't pressure. Not completely, even if it is just slightly, let it happen. Now, if your body wants to sigh, adjust posture, drop your shoulders, allow that. Your body knows how to release when you stop holding. Now, slowly bring your awareness back and just notice this. Has something shifted, even slightly? Maybe your breath, maybe the intensity, maybe just your awareness. Try to acknowledge this. This is important. You didn't fix anything. You simply allowed your body to process what it was already holding. Now, gently come back. Again, take a gentle breathe in and breathe out. Again, take a deep breathe in and exhale little longer. All right. How did you feel today after this? Are you feeling little lighter? Maybe even 2%? Accept it. So from today, you don't need long practices. Okay? You just remember this simple pattern. So what we did just now. Notice, name, allow, and then breathe. So, are you ready to take this step going forward if any such situation comes across? It's just a simple way to do it. Even if you do this for 2 minutes, you stop emotional buildup from staying in your system. It's like, let me take a very small example. Like, we often clean our house, right? Very frequently. Why we do that? Because if you don't do it for months together, or say even days together, you will see another phase. So, when we are so much careful to clean our house, why can't we do that for our own mind, right? So, that's very important. You don't pile up the dirt, the clutter. You just have to accept and take out, right? Similarly, in your mind, you don't take that emotional buildup to stay in your system. So your body doesn't need you to control emotions. It needs you to stop just abandoning them. All right. I'm really glad that you felt good, Manjeet. Thank you. So I want you to leave with this. You don't heal by avoiding what you feel. You heal by allowing yourself to experience it safely. And many times we don't suppress emotions because we are weak. We suppress them because we were never taught how to hold them. And that's where the challenge lies. And that's where guided support becomes important. We were never asked, you know, is there any emotional build emotional weakness or something that you're feeling. We were never taught to hold on to that or think over that. So that's why we often can't do this alone. So we created a space where you can understand your emotions, feel them safely, and release what your body has been carrying. And if today's session made you realize something within yourself, you can reach out or explore the link in the description mentioned. No pressure, as I always say, just a space where you don't have to carry everything alone. You don't need to control your emotions. You always need to understand them. With this, I would like to say goodbye. Thank you for being here. Yes, Daniel, you're feeling better. I'm really glad, Rajesh, you're feeling better. Right. So, with this, I would say if anytime you need this practice, try to revisit and follow this instruction. That would be really helpful. All right. Thank you so much. All right, then. See you tomorrow.